Good morning, friends. Pulled into camp like really late last night. The sun was definitely set. I had to break out my headlamp just to set up the tent. So I didn't record much. I got kind of cool time lapse, I think. We'll see how it turns out. It was really, really windy last night, so I didn't sleep too well. And yeah, kind of rough. But today's going to be a good day. Today marks my 1 month anniversary from starting the trail. And I think it's appropriate that I'm now, 3 miles from the halfway point. Kind of exciting. I'm gonna be stopping at Thicket Spring for water this morning. From there I have 15.5 miles to the 87 highway where my parents are gonna be picking me up. Looking forward to it. The feet are really sore today. I beat the crap out of them yesterday with all that really rugged rock. I have 2 new blisters, one on the sole of each foot. I don't even know how that happens, but it happened. So we're making it happen today. Fortunately, I have a very light pack now that I've eaten through a lot of my food. Used a lot of my other, products like the wet wipes and stuff like that. So much lighter, and it's gonna be my shortest day of this jaunt. So we'll see what happens. I think it'll be a good day. The most of the variables aren't my favorite, except for a few, but it has more to do with my body, and that's why I'm gonna be taking a quick break. So I can heal up, repair up, and all this business. Oh, these rocks. Oh. I got these shoes less than 2 weeks ago, would you believe it? The whole toe's blowing out of this one. Just crazy. Ultralight shoes can't hang on the AZT. The things you find in the wilderness, man. I wonder if it was like a camper van that got stuck. Huh. It's already filled up at that spring. My filter was giving me a lot of trouble though, so I was just trying to be quick and get out of there as quick as I can so I could make some footprints. Sorry about not recording it, but it's just a lot sometimes. I'm walking next to this really, really beautiful creek bed. I think it's at least partially from that spring I filled up from, Thicket Spring, that feeds this creek. Although the creek's currently underground because we haven't had any water flow in a while. So, but there are these great big trees providing a bunch of shade, so the hike's pretty nice. So there's a huge cairn here and a trail over there, but that's not the AZT. What? I guess I have to go up this way. It doubles back to this trail sign where it said that there was only a water thing. Oh, it's at the top, but then it says left is AZT, right, AZT. I guess it means that. They've never been at the top before. They've always been at the bottom or middle. Typical. Figured I wouldn't be going back to Thicket Spring, which is where that sign points to. It's confusing. So I filled up 2 liters in my pack and 1 liter in my Nalgene before I left that spring. At least I thought I put 2 liters in my bag, because I have a half-liter water bag, and I did 4 of those in the Camelback. But because my water bags are in such disrepair, I guess I probably only got like a liter. So I'm now out of water in the Camelback. I still have like 3/4 of a liter in that Nalgene, but I'm 5 or 6 miles from the next water source that 15 days ago someone said there were some murky pools. So we're in a situation, but we'll see what happens. This isn't good. That's part of the struggle of doing this hike during fall. There really isn't a lot of water out here, so you have to carry a lot more on your back. That means a lot more weight. Then you have longer distances between water sources. So if you miscalculate, those those penalties on that risk are pretty significant. Very significant. The most significant. So luckily I'm pretty much done with all the crazy uphill, so I shouldn't have to be doing any huffing and puffing, which will help keep the water inside my body. And I basically get to go downhill, so as long as the breeze keeps a little bit steady and keeps me cool, I think we'll be all right. If nothing else, I have like 9 miles to the 87 at this point, as I said, all downhill. So, and I know that there's a really well-stocked hiker box there. It's gonna have plenty of water, so just might be a thirsty few hours. Adventure? Found a decent sized puddle back there in one of the creek beds. I was able to pull a few liters out of, so that's good. It was deep enough that I could dip my water bag. But now both water bags have, one of them has like 3 or 4 holes right at the threads. So it basically drips into my clean water with the dirty water. Completely useless. And now this one, the one I've been using for the past couple of days, it also has 2 holes at the threads now, as well as one on the bottom. It's just disgusting how horribly made those bags were. I haven't even used them before now, and literally 3 days in the backcountry, and I didn't even like set them on anything sharp or blow them up or anything. It's like just fell apart. Just stupid. Oh, here's a bit more water. Grateful I don't have to pull from that. It's kind of gross. Where the heck is the trail though? I just have to go across the muck, I guess. Good morning, friends. We're back, better than ever, with some new duds, some new gloves, and some new scenery. I've hiked, well, obviously I'm back out on trail now. I'm gonna zip up this bag, throw it on my back, and then I'll keep talking. So today we started back on trail today. I am just leaving out of Sunflower this morning. Well, that was this morning. It's now almost 11. I didn't record first thing. I was just trying to hustle, get up the mountain kind of quick. Now the first jaunt of the climb is through, and we're going up 4 peaks today, hoping to cover like 20 miles. I took a little more than a week off trail, get all my supplies in order, get some new clothes and new water filter, some stuff like that. Ooh. But regardless, my feet still feel bruised from I think it was 9 days ago when I got off trail. So, oh, oof. So this is getting a little painful actually. Ooh, not fun. But as I said, ooh, big grasshopper. It's like a full meal, geez. Going up to 4 peaks, hoping to get from Sunflower to Pigeon Spring today. I'm almost to the halfway point between these two. Hoping to be there before noon. Because I start hiking at 7:30. So if I want to be off the mountain by nightfall, because my parents are actually picking me up tonight, I'm not camping out here because there isn't too good of water. I want to get down the mountain before nightfall because the road to get up to 4 peaks is pretty hairy. So I want to do them that courtesy, but as a result, I have to hustle. Well, there's this dirt road here, but I actually think it's closed from one end or the other. There's this cairn here. Oh Lord. Time to check the app. Pretty grateful because this has kind of just turned into a road walk all day. So right as those really big rocks were starting to bother me, turning into that road, and I've been on the road ever since. So the cool story about these huge rocks beside me actually goes with the mountain range I hit after the 4 Peaks Wilderness area. These blew all the way up here from the Superstition super volcano, which is now dormant. But back when it used to erupt very, very, very violently, these huge fire bombs of lava would fly for hundreds of miles, I guess. I think I'm hundreds of miles still. Maybe I'm a little closer than that, but many miles. And these cataclysmic explosions that would come out of this thing were due to a type of magma that was extremely viscous. So it's very thick. So the pressure could build up immensely before this thing would blow. And once it would finally blow, there would be so much energy behind that blast. Enough to literally move mountains. Once I get to the Superstitions, there are 2 very iconic natural landmarks there. One called Weaver's Needle and one called Picket Post Mountain. And both of these are geological relics of the last cataclysmic eruption that whole strain of volcanoes had. And these huge blobs of granite are from that. I don't know about that specific eruption, but it's from one of the many eruptions. If you look around really quick on these hills, let me get you a second. Give me a second to get you there. There's this whole hillside that's just covered in boulders. I mean, obviously the one behind me but over there too. So yeah, we're getting into a new volcanic area, but it's not that purple sort of lava rock we saw up in Flagstaff. It's different flavor. Pretty excited. I'm now a little more than halfway to my destination today, to that Pigeon Spring. I think I have like 8 miles, a little bit less than that maybe. It's been a nice little stroll, aside from the feet hurting. That's kind of bothersome, but need to figure something out. Because with this new shoe system, because I got my 3rd pair of shoes now, I also have super feet inserts in them, and I'm wearing a sock liner, and I'm wearing a very thick hiking sock. But my feet bones still feel very, very tender, especially when I hit it kind of off center on a rock. So, see what happens. So I'm in the saddle by this mountain, so it's a little bit windy, but there are 4 peaks. That's the mountain range I'm gonna go and be climbing tomorrow, maybe the day after. Maybe the day after that, depending how the feet feel once I'm done here. I'm getting right to the Fort Peaks wilderness boundary today, which is right next to Pigeon Spring, and then going from there. Those are the epic peaks though. And yes, very epic. Oh, stepped on a rock. So this lake behind me is Roosevelt Lake, and it's named after Teddy Roosevelt, our history. One of our presidents in the very early 1900s. Teddy Roosevelt is responsible for so much of the land out here being put under some sort of natural preservation, under some word of law. And it's also because of him that we have the Antiquities Act, which is what allows a president to nominate or declare a national monument. On the other end of this mountain range is Tonto National Monument. That's one of the many protected areas in our national park system that were declared by the Antiquities Act. Tonto National Monument. All national monuments are under the management of the National Park Service, and they're essentially national parks, except national parks are protected under an act of Congress, whereas a national monument can be, its protections can be taken away just by the president, no one else. So that's some of the interesting political side of land management. Good morning, my fellow adventurers. Today, we're continuing back on trail from the Pigeon Spring Trailhead, or Pigeon Trailhead according to the sign. Depends if you go gut hook or the signs. As always, we are about to enter the 4 Peaks Wilderness. Hiking through this in its totality today. Now in the wilderness, oh my. About 19 miles all in all today to get to Roosevelt, the next trail town. Fortunately, I am just day hiking this section again due to some ligament and joint problems I've been having with my feet and my knees. So we're out here today just seeing how my body reacts to it, seeing if I have to take a longer break from trail or not. I'm really hoping that, so today is Sunday, I'm hoping that on Tuesday I'll be going back out then for a jaunt through the Superstition Wilderness Superstition Mountains. It's an area I've always dreamt of backpacking in, but I still haven't had a chance to. I've had chances, I guess, but never taken the opportunity to, because I live pretty close to them. I am pretty excited for that little hike. Only issues are there was a pretty significant wildfire that blew through there earlier this summer. Burned thousands of acres. So hoping that the trail is going to be at least a little bit more put back together by the time I get there. If not, it's okay. We have got hook. We'll survive. As you can see, I'm up in this pine forest, and this actually would be considered a sky island. And I guess you would say that this is the first sky island of the AZT, if you want to think about it that way. At least if you're going southbound. If you're going northbound, this would be your last one. And so the idea behind a sky island is that when you have a sudden gain in elevation and a whole area that's at that higher elevation, there's going to be different ecology up there because it's going to be much colder, much quicker. The weather patterns are going to be different, and that therefore leads to different organisms taking hold there. So as you just saw, not anymore though, it's kind of weird, I'm going in and out of some pine and oak, and that's only found up on top of this mountain. The surrounding area, aside from the high elevation spots, it's actually desert with big old saguaros and prickly pear. I'll be hiking into that later today once I'm off of this mountain. I'm now in a spot on trail where you can catch a glimpse of what these great grandiose granite edifices that are Four Peaks truly look like. That rock is over 1 billion years old. Isn't that just amazing? How the heck did it get that high up there, you might ask? Same sort of situation that helped to create the Grand Canyon in the Colorado Plateau. Two tectonic plates had to overlap each other in order for this uplift to occur. It's quite evident where that uplift happened, where you can see those striations going almost vertically instead of horizontally, which is how they probably would have formed. And then those get turned by these immense forces from our living planet. Absolutely amazing. Although it moves extremely slow, geology sure is a powerful force. I'm almost through the little ridgeline hike, and I have about 8 or 9 miles of crazy downhill off the edge of this.